globally is a $700 billion industry. So it's not this small rinky-dink thing that, just based running on passion. It's running on some real money, and it's one of the largest sectors or industries in the world in terms of revenues and employment. So, and it clearly has such a large cultural and societal role to play, as we are seeing right now when sports is not really around as much. I can't wait for Monday when the Last Dance, the next 2 episodes come on, and I can relive, the Bulls in the 90s, and it gives me so much happiness to think of sports and be around sports. So because of that, this is no different than if you want to be a doctor, you go to med school, right? If you want to be a lawyer, you go to law school. If you want to be, an engineer, you probably want to study engineering to some extent. So it's not exactly apples to apples where only studying sports at a postgrad level means that you can get a good job in sports. And by no means is every executive who's made it in the sports industry from a background. However, and I think Will touched on this earlier, we're looking for people with specific skill sets. So maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago in India, maybe it was just a couple of years ago, sports was still quite general. You can come in with knowledge of the industry. You could have been an ex-player, and then you come over and you can kind of figure things out. But now the stakes are much higher. And not in India and abroad, it's been high for quite a bit. So now when I'm hiring somebody for IoT or for GISB, or when I was running a professional club or at any of the companies I was with, I'm looking for somebody who comes in with a macro understanding of the industry, but also some micro skills and strengths and knowledge of how they can contribute to my area that I'm hiring in. And without a sports management degree, especially in this time where a lot of deep information about the business of sports and the inner workings of sports organizations is not very clear, especially in India, it's hard to really know where you're going to fit in. So then you're stuck just on the LinkedIn searches. And as we all know, that's a great tool, LinkedIn, but it's not necessarily a guarantee that you're going to get a response or it's going to turn into a job or even a conversation. So I think this is a time where at least the sports management programs provide you a platform in a springboard really, to figure out, okay, what's the next step? So I don't think it's a must, but I would say it's highly recommended.
Just layer on that. Neel said it best there, but I think, you're accessing a network, and sports is a people business. It's about soft skills. It's about understanding, what people's challenges are in their jobs. And if you go to a program that has no focus in sport, but is just a generalized MBA or management focus, I think it's missing that large human element of that texture of understanding what's unique to sport, because it is truly unique from a consumer standpoint, from a marketing standpoint. Legally, it's quite unique when you look at global sport. So if you take a traditional management background and try to jam it through an entry-level sports job, there's going to be areas that you simply, I think, maybe feel a little bit like a fish out of water at times. There's also a little bit of a theory and background that good programs give you that I think allow you to see, a ticket is more than just a ticket. It doesn't just get you into a stadium. It's something that has social value. It's something that ties you to a community. It's something that builds passion within fans that then leads to different types of purchase behaviors. So if you see sport as just a product, like a normal consumable, I think that sometimes can limit the way you look at jobs, the way you look at opportunities. And ultimately, if you want to be a manager or a leader in the industry, I think having that sport-specific foundation is really important.